Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Show. Today's a big episode. We're coming off a huge episode last week, which did some amazing numbers. We had a lot of great guests. We hyped up the LIT. You really couldn't have found a better show last week, but today we might have topped it. We got a great list of guests behind the scenes right now, getting ready to hop on here. We got a lot of debuts, a lot of people coming on here for the first time, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm expecting a lot of communities, regions, fans to hop on, and I'm going to be your guest for today's show, so hopefully we can have some fun and you guys enjoy it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you all a little bit of a timeline on how today's show will work. Make sure everything's up on social media. The first hour, so probably about an hour 15, will be all about the guests. We'll have these guests coming on kind of rapid fire. I'll give these guys 5, 8, 10 minutes to kind of talk about things. We got some small questions, mainly just here to hype up these guys, how they're playing so far, have them speak on how their season's going so far, the rosters, the teams. We've had coaching changes. We've had all kinds of stuff I want to talk about. We got a few guys on here who could be close to committing. They could be kind of in the later stages of their recruiting. And then we have some guys that could be in their early parts. So we'll talk to them all about it. We have one more guest, Jake Feldhouse from Madison Central, who's not here right now, but he's planning on joining the show a little later. He's busy as we speak. Eli Finley will not be able to make the show tonight. They just won the 2A state championship against Harlan County. So best of luck moving forward, Eli. We're going to have you on next week, man. Congratulations on the award. I know he had over 30 points. He dominated that tournament, him and Jonah Butler. So congrats to Callaway County and Eli Finley. Already got a lot of people hopping in here. And here's the great thing. We got a new 5 weeks, so we have new sponsors we can talk about and highlight. And I'd like to get to that right now, man. Let's go in a little bit of an order. Let's talk about Barron Grass-Fed Beef Farms. That is Brad Barron out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. We got Pelican Snowball, the best sweet treat in the area, both located in Bowling Green. That's the Lockhart family. Grayville Funeral Home, longtime sponsor, Roy Grayville, located in Brownsville, Kentucky. Exact Homes is new. Scotty Hawkins, located in Grayson County, Kentucky. Check them out. B Spring Lumber, longtime sponsor, located in B Spring, Kentucky. Wendy and Kelly Wood. Charity Hall Bingo by Troy Dever, located in Louisville, Kentucky, the best bingo spot in the town. And Alfred's Pharmacy, the best pharmacy, your go-to pharmacy in Brownsville with excellent service. And to end it off, we have Detman Law Injury Lawyer, who is actually going to be sponsoring our Player of the Weeks from now on. We'll do a Player of the Week at the end of the show today. We've put a lot of stats together. We've put things together so we can give you our Player of the Week. And last but certainly not least is Ronald Scott Lindsay, Judge Executive out of Brownsville, Kentucky. So that's our sponsors. Now, today's show is going to be long. It's going to be about 2 hours, and I kind of scheduled it at the worst time because what makes it terrible is we have the Ravens and Bills playing right now. It's a game I probably should have planned it around a little more, but I think we have the championship of college football coming up. So right now is really just a hard time, but I had to get a show out for the high school fans watching. We're going to be starting off our show today with Coach William Unseld here in just a few minutes, probably less than a minute, getting him on here to talk. He's coming off a big win against Bowling Green, Kentucky. And one thing about William Unseld is it feels like the Warren Central Dragons are always going to compete. They're always going to be great. They're always going to be really good. The team has lost one game on the season, but we can go in there and we can put some asterisks on that game. They're 14-1. The game they lost, they were without 4 starters. They're being led right now by Ant McAfee, who's playing his first season in KHSAA basketball. He's been an absolute stud. Bellarmine signee, one of the top players in the state of Kentucky right now. So, and that roster doesn't end there. I'm going to have him hit on the roster more. They have some other top faces and big-time names. We're going to talk to him about his season so far, how he's feeling. They have big wins over teams like Male, Bowling Green, Owensboro. So it's been a really fun season for Warren Central so far. The region play's just starting to heat up. I know they got some big-time games coming up against a South Warren, a Greenwood, and they have some out-of-region games too as well. They'll be playing a team like a Butler County, Adair County, LaRue County. So their schedule's really just starting to heat up. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're coming off a big win, and without further ado, let's get Coach Unseld in here as our first guest for the show today. Coach Unseld, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Appreciate you having me.
Of course, man. We had to get you on. I know I was trying to get us an episode about like 8 or 9 months ago with you and Cade, but that never worked out, man. Yeah. It was a busy time of year. But Coach Unseld, how you been? How you feeling about this roster? And talk to me coming off that win against Bowling Green.
Man, it's always good to beat your rival, but it's a long season left. So it's good to beat them at their place. Like I said, you really play a 6-game season, your district games. The other games are practice. So we focus on that. Like I said, it's good to get out. We're 3-0 in the district. That's the main thing. Try to get that 1 seed. The kids are playing well. We still got a long way to go. We got a lot of new faces coming in, and still got guys mixing in that we haven't hit our stride yet. But we've been winning with defense, and we shoot the ball really well. So, man, I'm tickled to death. The kids are giving me everything I'm asking for.
Well, Coach Unseld, we had him on last week. I'm trying to get him out there to as many people as we possibly can. Some people still don't know the guy. We got to talk about Robert Ant McAfee. It's his first year at KHSAA basketball. From a Tennessee guy, played at Legacy, was a beast there, and now he's here at Warren Central with you, Coach Unseld. Tell me about Ant. Tell the people about Ant who might not know him and what he brings to this team.
Man, that's a great kid, first and foremost. He's a great
Yeah.
kid. And he's young. He's 17, don't turn 18 till after he graduates. So, he's a young kid, but he's a special scorer. And he might be and I've coached a lot of Division I basketball guys. He probably is the best contested shot maker I've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be right on top of him. He sees nothing but the rim, Great size for a guard, 6'5", 6'6", athletic, but he can really shoot it. Reminds me a lot of Klay Thompson, how he keeps it high, shoots the ball. He's really good, though. But better than all that, he's a special kid, man. He's a really special kid, so we're tickled to have him.
Of course. And there's similarities, I feel like, between Ant McAfee and your son, Cade Unseld, kind of the way they read the floor, shoot the ball. That was one thing Cade was phenomenal with, was stretching the floor. And it's kind of like you replaced your son, Cade, going to Western Kentucky, and now you get another great point guard to fill the role, man. I know you couldn't be more happy, but let's extend on this roster a little bit. You have some of the best sophomores in the state. You have another amazing senior in Jarrett Kirk, but we got Ryan Holbert, who's one of my favorite. He's a fun guy to watch. He's scrappy. He's the definition of a real 3-and-D point guard. Just tell me about this roster and what makes them so special.
And that one, they love playing with each other, and they got great chemistry. Two, man, we got a little bit of everything. We got a lot of length with Ant and Armani, and Jarek is having a heck of a season, man. He's starting to break out. 6'6", 6'7", with a 6'11", 7-foot wingspan, man. He blocks a lot of shots. He's hard to guard. He's shooting 45% from three. And he's a late bloomer. He's just now figuring it out, man. He's practiced against those guys on the state championship team, and Cade and those guys last year. Now it's his turn, and he's taking advantage of it, man. He's going to be a steal for a college coach. He's got a little bit of everything. Then you're talking about, of course, Ant and then Armani, man. He don't even know how good he's going to be. He's 6'6", he's 6'7", and can shoot it and athletic as can be, and he still don't know how good he is, and that's the best thing about him. He had 13, 14, 15 points the other night. He just plays hard and gets after of it. Cash Carter, who's still getting his legs under after having surgery this summer, and then get a bone bruise in his knee a couple weeks. Once he got back, 2 weeks later, he gets a bone bruise in his knee. So he's still getting the rust off, but he's been really good for us. We got a really good sophomore group. My junior group, you got Dominic Anthony, who starts for – he's kind of our glue guy. He does everything.
Yeah.
He affects the game without scoring, rebounds, defense, dive on the floor, take charge, it talks. And Ryan been a starting point guard in Memphis for 2 years, so he's been through some battles, and he's another guy who can affect the game without scoring, and he's shooting 60% from three. I wish he would shoot more. But he's so unselfish that he's great at getting in the lane and creating for his teammates and playing for those guys. Like I said, we got an extremely talented lineup. I mean, KJ just got eligible last week, so he's another small guard, but he is a jet. He can score, and he's getting his feet wet. Like I said, so we're a long way from being where we're going to be, but to be 14-1 with the schedule we played, it's been a blessing. And like I said, the kids, man, they get after it. They're doing everything I ask them to do.
Yeah. Well, you can't complain at all. I mean, when you have 6 or 7 guys who's averaging over 4 rebounds a game, the team's shooting about 40% from three-point line, free throw numbers, they'll continue to rise. You want to obviously
well, we're not shooting enough of them. So when you don't shoot enough of them and you're 1 for 2 here and 1 for 2 there, it's hard. But we're starting to get better, be more aggressive. The thing with us is we shoot the 3 ball so well, sometimes we don't get it in the paint like we need to. And I'm still let's get it in the paint first type of guy. But, those guys have a lot of freedom if they're a guard, and they've done that. I think we're one of the top teams in the state defensively, holding people to 40-some, 47, 46, 48 points a game. And that's how we're winning right now. Once our offense catches up with the defense, we're really going to be hard to beat. Like I said, it's fun, and we emphasize rebounding from the time practice starts. That's first and foremost. Both ends, let's rebound the basketball. And that'll carry you a long way. When the shots aren't falling, you can get your second chance opportunities. And like I said, we give them a lot of freedom offensively or mostly. We don't call a whole lot of sets. We teach them how to play and give them a whole lot of freedom. Play to your strength, make the right plays. I'm happy. And let's go play defense.
Yeah, of course. And the thing that I really like about this team, let's talk about Jarek. You mentioned Jarek. I think Jarek is a late bloomer. I think we kind of hit on it that one day at practice. We talked his best basketball is still years ahead of him. So I think it's going to be really fun to see how he continues to grow. Any college getting Jarek will get a steal. A guy like Cash, once he gets his feet under him and he continues to get the motion again, get the rhythm, this team's going to be scary. I said it last week on the show. I had you as the number one defense. You guys are holding teams to about 48, 49 a game and really succeeding in this fourth region so far. Let's talk about a few of the key games coming up, Coach. You guys have the fourth region starting to warm up. You got South Warren, Christian County, Greenwood. You know, the schedule kind of starts to heat up because then you look later down the line. You have Butler County, Bowling Green, and then Adair County. Tell me about the rest of the schedule a little bit and some of the top teams you have coming up.
Well, that's I always like to schedule this way. You finish up tough, man. Finish up tough on the road. I think we go to LaRue, we go to Adair, we go to North Hardin. We got a tough stretch coming up. And then we picked up a game tomorrow where we're going to Murray State to play Sikeston, Missouri, one of the top teams in Missouri. So, we need that. We need that. Not like I told my guys today, I said, we can go there, we can win. We're playing with house money. Let's just go get better. We're playing on the college floor, playing against one of the top teams in the state of Missouri, and it ain't gonna do nothing but make us better. Iron sharpens iron. Let's go get better and challenge ourselves. And like I said, we got them tomorrow. South Warren's done. Our district is tough. All four teams are really good. We got South, we got Greenwood. Those are coming up. Like I said, we got LaRue, we got Adair. We got a lot. We got a lot of tough ones coming up, which is good for us. That's how I want to end there. And they're on the road. I love going on the road to play. I love going on the road to play. Let's see who can handle it. Let's see who can handle the distraction. Then I can find out, guys are great in practice, but I like to find out who's great when that popcorn's popping, man. When it's live, let's see who's good then. Then we go from there.
Coach, I got about 2 or 3 more questions for you. Then I won't hold it too much. We compared this team so far looks so great. They're so good defensively, and it's crazy because they're just now kind of starting to get going, get healthy. Does this team remind you of any team you've had in the past? The state tournament teams just about as good as anybody in the state. So does this remind you of anybody you've ever had or coached for?
Well, you know what it reminds me of from how the perception of the team is. Reminds me of my runner-up team 3 years ago. Nobody knew who we were. We knew we were really good. Nobody else knew we were really good till we got to the state tournament, beat Mayo, beat Covenant Catholic, beat Murray, and really, we're a shot away from being back-to-back state champions. This team reminds me a lot of that because nobody knows how good we are. Because we lost Cade, we lost all those guys from the state championship team, but we got a really good group right now. Like I said, we got Armani's a sophomore, Kaz a sophomore, got a good junior group. It doesn't stop. We're gonna keep coming and. It reminds me again of the state runner-up team where again nobody knows who they are. So and I like it that way. Let's go ahead and we're gonna play on the backside, let everybody get all the credit and all that, and then we'll see what happens. If we can get to the promised land, we'll see what happens there. But we're a long way from that, man. I don't want to put nothing out in front of that. So we got to get through this district first and foremost with all the teams we got here with Bowling Green and Greenwood and South, man. It's gonna be tough for us to get out of our district.
Yeah, we're sitting at the mid-season point, but we still got about 2 months left of basketball, so it's really hard to judge where we're at right now. Coach Unseld, I won't hold you too much longer tonight, man. It was good having you on. Is there anything you want to add for all those tuning in? We have a lot of Warren Central people in here right now. I can see the comments.
Nah, you know what? I just keep following us now. See what happens. We got a great group of kids more than anything. We got a great group of kids who play hard and do well. They do everything I ask them to do. They do everything I ask them to do. It ain't always fun. It's hard. The Warren Central way ain't easy, man. It's hard. We get out of it every day and put a lot of hours in. So, I'm pleased with my guys, and then we got a great group of fans.
Coach Unseld, it was fun having you on here, man. Thanks for making your debut. I know I caught you at a rough time. Go enjoy that game, man. And
man, I appreciate it.
Again soon. I'll hit you up again. I'll see you soon. We'll have to have you back on here soon.
All right, bud. I appreciate it, Joe.
Thank you, Coach. Coach Unseld, he always keeps it real. He's one of the best people out there in the basketball realm. So glad to have him on. Today was his debut, believe it or not, which feels weird when you got a guy that legendary. That's on me. I needed to have him on a little earlier. We're going to be joined next by one of the top players, the top player in the third region right now, without a doubt, committed to UT Martin, Ty Price. We've not had him in the show in a little while. I don't think his camera's working today, but he's got his mic on, and we're going to ask him some questions, talk about recent performances. Butler County's dealing with some adversity right now. We knew going into the season without Lawson Rice it would be difficult, and then a guy like Clayton DeWeese goes down. So they're still learning who they are. They're still improving. They're still getting better. So we're going to ask Ty some questions, really check in with him. Ty's always one of the best interviews you can get. So let's get Ty on here and talk to us. Ty, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
What's up? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Butler County basketball, it's been up and down. It's been a little bit of a
Yes,
roller
sir.
coaster. I think we can agree on that, but y'all have learned a lot. Y'all played one of the hardest schedules. Y'all still have big time wins. You guys beat Ashland Blazer by almost 20 points. So while we
Yeah.
do talk about some of the losses, we still have to highlight the wins. And,
Mm.
a lot of times I think Greg, Coach Docker, all them say, it's not about playing weaker teams and stacking wins. You got to play
Yeah.
those teams that's going to get you ready for February and March. So, Ty, going into this season, we knew there'd be adversity with Lawson out, and now we see Clayton out for a little longer. How have you guys been able to keep the locker room, stay motivated, and keep these guys moving forward with all the things that's been thrown at you all?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. Obviously, we knew kind of, Lawson was going to be out the whole season, but during that J-Town game for Clayton to go down like that and, just come up with an injury like that, it's tough. Obviously, he played 30 minutes a game for us. So we're still trying to figure it out. We've obviously went through a lot of adversity early, but, we feel like that's what prepares us for the postseason. Obviously, last year, a lot of people were doubting us. We didn't really go up there to the King of the Bluegrass and play our best basketball. But once again, we didn't play. We didn't have all our guys. Bauer was sick. Justin had a sprained meniscus. So it was, we went through a lot of adversity last year. Kind of the same circumstances. Obviously more injuries this year, but it's kind of the same thing. Just playing a tough schedule, going through a lot of adversity, and really finding out what we're good at, what we're not good at, to prepare us for the postseason, so we can achieve what we want to achieve. Hey, I can't hear you. Hello?
That's on me, Ty. We're back.
Okay,
We're good
okay.
to go. Ty, like last season, for instance, you guys were still with Lawson. The team was
Yeah.
healthy. Things were good. But your style of play, you were still faced with double teams, different styles of defenses. You were never really comfortable in a game, it felt like. And you lose a guy like a Lawson, a Clayton. It changes how teams guard you. Now they're really focusing on you. How have you been able to stay motivated and have a positive mindset? Because we know going into games where you're going to be one of the main focuses. You're not really going to have any space to create. Face guarded. We've seen it this year already. How have you been able to keep a positive mindset and just continue to move forward and still do your thing? You're still putting up great numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's hard to, you can't replace a Division I player. When you lose a Division I player, one guy's not going to come in and be able to make up for that slack. But we've had a lot of guys play well off the bench. Kane and Vincent, he's a sophomore, he's 6'4", can dunk the ball with two hands. I mean, he didn't see a lot of the court last year. Obviously, we had a really talented team, but with a lot of people going down, he's getting a lot more minutes and he's been playing well. So, just having some guys off the bench come in and, give us great minutes. And then obviously just, watching a lot of film, seeing how teams are kind of guarding me. That's been able to help me throughout these last few games. And just, obviously just staying aggressive, and, our defense leads to our offense a lot of the time. So, if we're playing hard on defense, getting second chance points, like, we can score the ball at any time.
Well, it's crazy to think you guys said it's 7-9, but I feel like when you go back, watch those games, there's a lot of games that's decided by a possession or two.
For
You
sure.
guys could be 10-5 one night. You guys could be, the record could always change. Now we don't. I know a guy like you don't always look at record, especially this early in the season. But you've had two really good games back to back. A great game against Evanston County, and then against Battleground Academy. I know you guys didn't get to win that game, but you still played really good. But let's talk about the third region a little bit. It's more competitive than I think people talked about at the start of the year.
Yes, sir.
I feel like going into the start of the year, everybody was Daviess County, Butler County. That's your top two. One of those guys will win it. But I feel like as the season continues to go on, Grayson County 13-4. Owensboro Catholic is really starting to get it going. Muhlenberg has been an absolute shock to a lot of people.
For sure.
Killeen County's winning games. Breck. It's like we can talk about all these third region teams besides maybe one or two, and they're all shocking us. They're all playing a lot better than we thought. And this is a competitive region. You guys just got in a big battle with Davis County, a big game, a high-scoring game. You guys came out with the loss, but it's still a game that was close that y'all guys are most likely going to meet again. And this schedule just continues to heat up, not just region-wise, but you've got a team like a Warren Central, Callaway, Butler. So it's the good fun and the big games are just now kind of to start. Tell me about this region from your perspective a little bit, Ty, and just how difficult it's going to be to win it because it's so loaded and deep, competitive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the region's definitely, I feel like, more competitive than it was last year. I think, a lot of people kind of seen that first round game against us and Davis as the championship game. Obviously that was kind of our closest game last year. But kind of like you said, I mean, a lot of teams are playing well. Muhlenberg's been surprising a lot of people. I mean, Grayson County's been playing well, but, Catholic just beat them by 20. So it's obviously we got we felt like we should have beat Davis, but we didn't. So I mean, there's a lot of things. A lot of teams are playing well, and I think it's a really competitive region. But we still feel like we have what it takes to win at the end of the year.
Of course, and the veteran aspect and being there and actually getting to experience
Mhm.
winning that region means a lot, especially when you get there. I feel like everybody's game kind of elevates. Ty,
Yes, sir.
it's been an up and down season so far, but I know things are positive in
Mhm.
Butler County. I know you're always positive. You
For
guys are
sure.
ready for what's in store. You guys have some of the best basketball coming up left. You guys have a big game against Muhlenberg Tuesday at home. That's a good
Yes,
game.
sir.
Bears, a big battle. Probably 2 top 5 teams in that region. So it's
Mhm.
going to be a lot of fun, Ty. I'm glad to have you come on here a little bit, man, and chat a little bit. We've had you on here. You're the most tenured guest for the Joe Show. So it's always fun to have you, man. Thanks for coming on here. And is there anything you'd like to leave off to the fans watching and the Butler County fans?
Nah, man. I mean, I just want to say thank you for having me on here again. Obviously, I enjoy coming on, and anytime you want me to be on here, I will. But I would just say, trust us throughout this process. We're still trying to figure it out, obviously, but we're gonna give you what you want to see at the end of the year.
Ty, thank you, man, for coming on. Butler County Bears, the best basketball still up. So, Ty, it'll be fun to watch it, man. Thanks for coming on. That was Ty Price. He's one of the most tenured guests we have on here. Didn't have a whole long line of questions to ask him like we did Coach Unseld, but kind of wanted to do a check-in on him. He's averaging 30 points a game right now for the Bears. Their season has been up and down. It's been a little rocky. They've dealt with injuries. They've dealt with adversity. They've played one of the hardest schedules. So they're a weird team to judge now. We'll really get that real taste of Butler County when we get into that region play. But we got a guy about to hop on the show now. He's one of the top sophomores in Kentucky. He's an amazing player to watch. He's so smart IQ. He's fundamental. He's a super fun player. He's out there in Western Kentucky, and we're going to talk to him about Western Kentucky a little bit because Eastern Kentucky has been disrespected a lot in the Kentucky basketball scene. And I know Mr. Matthew Lange will have an opinion on the Western Kentucky scene and how they are and how good they are. We're going to check on him about his season. Marshall County's a top 10 team in the state right now. We'll ask him how they look and things like that. Matthew Lange, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Of course, Matthew. It's honestly been too long. I should have had you on here a little earlier, kind of get you on here, talk a little earlier last year. But, some people that might not be as familiar with state keep up with it all the time. Marshall County was a state basketball team last season. You guys were at Rupp, so we kind of knew this team would be good. But right now, I feel like Marshall County is on fire, man. You guys are still holding that undefeated record, which is hard to keep, especially 17 games into the season. You all are 17-0. Matthew, tell me about this roster. Tell me about this team and how y'all look right now.
Man, it's been awesome to play with them. I love the team. Like top to bottom, we're real spread out on scoring. I think we got three or four guys in double figures maybe.
Yeah.
And then everybody I love the whole team. Just a great camaraderie and everybody plays well together and it's just really fun to play on.
Yeah, and Matthew, I kind of hinted toward it. I kind of talked about it, but Western Kentucky's been disrespected at times. They've said they don't have the talent. They don't have some of the best teams. But it looks like right now, Marshall County is legit as it gets. We've seen it last year when they made the state tournament. They battled, they competed. And now this year, you guys are looking to be the team to make it out the first region, but there's still a lot of basketball to be told, still a lot of good games. So we won't get too hot right now, but the first region is pretty tough this year, man. I know if you look at it top to bottom, there's so many double-digit win teams. And you guys in Callaway look like the next big game. That's going to be fun to see. That one's going to be a battle. Matthew, tell me about this Western Kentucky talent scene and just how good this first region is and why people should show some more respect.
Yeah, I mean, first region's tough. It has been for the past few years. Well, our district, I'll start with our district. I mean, Callaway's in it. Murray's in it.
Yeah.
I mean, Murray's lost a few players, but they're still pretty solid. Callaway, I mean, you got two amazing players on that team, Jonah and Eli. We played them actually last week. And that was a really close game. And then, we just played Graves as well. Graves is a good team. I mean, top to bottom, the region and the whole area is just pretty solid basketball everywhere you go.
Well, Matthew, I know you want to show a little bit of respect. You want to be nice. You said it was close, but, man, it was a big win. It was a big win against Callaway, man. Winning by 27 points. And, Matthew, unless KHSAA is lying to me, man, you had 40 points, man. Tell me about that game, man, going into that game. You're going up against two of the better players in the state of Kentucky, a well-coached team, a little bit of a district region rivalry. What do you think lit that spark, man? Because 40 points for a sophomore is still crazy to think about.
Yeah, there is a little bit of rivalry there, that's for sure. Yeah. And, I started off really hot, and I was feeling it, and my teammates were giving me a bunch of confidence, kept feeding me the ball, and put me in good spots. And, it was just my night. I mean, it was a really fun game. The atmosphere was great. The Jeff was rocking. It was packed. Yeah. It was awesome.
Well, Matthew, your guys' defense is something that needs to be talked about too. We like the offense, we like the scoring, but first game of the year, you guys hold Christian County to 30. Then you play Massac County at Illinois, you hold them to 21. But it doesn't really end there. You guys have not allowed a team to score 70 all season besides Ballard, which was a kind of top 10 matchup. So that's a huge game to win. Just a really big, good look on your all's part. You guys have beat teams like Owensboro Catholic. You've beat South Oldham. You've beat Owensboro Catholic twice, I believe, actually. You guys have beat McCracken County. You've beat Ballard. You've beat a Paducah Tillman. And now you add that Callaway County win. It's hard to find a team with almost as good as this resume. You have your St. X's, your Great Crossings, but Marshall County has a great resume. They're probably a top 2, 3, 1 defensive team in the state of Kentucky, and they're led by a sophomore named Matthew Lange and a really strong roster all around. How do you guys feel going into these next few games? You guys have some big games on the schedule. I know coming up, your next game will be Christian Fellowship, and then you continue to heat up in Paducah area. You got Paducah, Tillman, McCracken County. Tell me about these games coming up and how you feel going into them.
We just got to keep the momentum rolling. Obviously, we're really hot right now. Our defense is playing really good, and that's been a really big vocal point on Coach Donahue's part. And Paducah Tillman's been really good. That was the closest game we played in the region, I believe, besides Graves, 10 points. And then we turn around and play McCracken as well on a back-to-back, and that's going to be really tough. And Cracken's played really well lately. I think they won a big game against Paducah Tillman, pretty solid, pretty big lead.
Yeah.
So that should be good. That should be a pretty good game.
Yeah, and you look at a team like Paducah Tillman, who just played F.J. Wrights out of Indiana, who has one of the best players in the country, Jalen Mitchell, kept that game within 10 points. So a lot of these Western Kentucky teams have great resumes. So to add a win over them, it just looks even better on you all. Matthew, Marshall County, they're fun this year. They're really good. Some people still might not be respecting them, man. We got some Marshall County fans in here and some people watching. Give us one little last remark, a little bit of touch on this team. And Matthew, I really appreciate you being on here.
Thank you. I just put some respect on our name.
Yeah. Show some respect to Marshall County, man. Are you guys still the last undefeated team in the state right now? I know it was you all in Clinton County, but have they took a loss yet? I know you got to be looking at that a little bit.
To be honest, I really haven't. I'm just focused on the next game.
Yeah, no, 100%. Clinton County stays undefeated right now at 19-0, but the schedule Marshall County has played has been tough to stay. You guys have a top 10 win on the season against a team like a Ballard, and then you've beat a team like Callaway. So Marshall County looks legit this year. They're looking to make it back to Rupp. It's a fun team. They're led by this guy on your screen right now, Matthew Lange, 20 points per game as a sophomore. Matthew, thanks for coming on, man. Keep up the big season, and coming off a 40-point game against Callaway, you can't feel any better, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Matthew, thanks for hopping on, man. We'll hope to get you back on here soon. Matthew Lange makes his debut for a little segment to talk about Marshall County basketball, his recent success, how he's playing. He's a 20-point-per-game scorer currently for Marshall County. They have one of the best resumes in the state of Kentucky as well. You look at the wins they have. When you hold a win over Ballard, who has competed against so many good teams, South Oldham, one of the better teams in Northern Kentucky, and, you look at a Battleground Academy. They beat them by 13, one of the better teams out of Tennessee, and they've beat Owensboro Catholic, who's really starting to heat up right now and look like a great team. And then you beat Callaway County by 20-plus points. You can't really ask for a better resume in the Western Kentucky basketball scene. They're one of the last 2 undefeated teams in the state of Kentucky. They've got a lot of big games coming up, so interested to see how that continues to unfold for Marshall County. Our next guest is one of the most entertaining and biggest human highlight reels in the state of Kentucky. The guy will dunk on anybody. He'll put a bucket on anybody, but he plays defense. He's fun to watch, and he's a really good leader despite being a junior. A lot of people think only the seniors really call the shots, but DeMarcus Surratt is one of the most fun players to watch in the state of Kentucky. And we got to talk about Frederick Douglass. I'm going to have him answer a few questions when we get in here, but Frederick Douglass has been amazing this season. They only have 2 losses on their schedule. Some people were unsure going into the season. They lost a guy like Armello Boone. They lost some other guys as well. So many people were concerned. They lose the coach as well. So people were concerned, how good will Frederick Douglass be? I think Coach Murray Garvin has done just about as good as a job as you can do with this strong and competitive roster. They added a guy like Tate Robinson, who I'm sure DeMarcus will only have good things to say about, but they set at 12-2. They're a very good defensive team. They've got one of the better resumes in the state of Kentucky. They beat some great teams. They battled everybody. So without further ado, let's welcome DeMarcus onto the show. DeMarcus, how have you been, man?
Man, I've been good. Appreciate you for having me.
Of course, man. We got to talk about Coach Garvin. Coach Garvin's first year at Douglass, man. Some people, when he was coming into it, they were skeptical. They didn't know how he would be with the team. They didn't know how great you all would be. There was some disrespect toward Douglass going into the season. Some weren't sure how good you all would be, but I'd say it's safe to say you guys' performance of the expectations of some of the people. I personally had you all coming in as a top 10 team, and y'all guys are right now top 3, top 5 team in the state of Kentucky. DeMarcus,
Yes, sir.
tell me how it was going into this season, because you get the new head coach, you get a few new guys come in. How was the practices? How was it getting ready with Coach Garvin and kind of getting ready for the season?
Yeah, so preseason before it even started, we lost a couple guys. And we just heard it, the chatter everywhere. The guys talking about how we're not going to be as good. We lost those guys. So now,
Mhm.
but with Coach Garvin came right in and he wanted to build a culture of winning. He wanted to keep the winning going. He wanted to build a culture of discipline.
Yeah.
So those early on practices, he set the standard for it's not going to be easy season. And every practice is going to be hard. We're going to battle, iron sharpens iron in practice. And, every practice, it was hard and gritty. And, just coming into the season, that's just helped us out and helped us battle with these great teams that we've been playing and, helped us get some big wins.
DeMarcus, the Frederick Douglass schedule is, I don't know. I can't really speak from it because I've not played it, but man, it's been crazy. You guys have played ranked teams almost every single game. I think there's maybe only one team on your schedule, maybe one or two, that hasn't been ranked all season, and that's Henderson County and Scott County. And you guys handled them both by over 30 points. So you guys are dominating teams, but you guys are also winning games against some of the top teams in the state of Kentucky. You've beat Fairdales, you've beat Mills, you've beat Ballards, you've beat a Greene County, a Cooper. You've beat so many good teams. Bryan Station, which was a big-time game. Let's talk about the Bryan Station game a little bit because, you guys played them back-to-back. You guys played them at the Lexington Catholic tournament. Then you guys played your regular season game against them. I know that's a little bit of a rivalry game. I know there's things being said. How fun was those games, man? And how good is it to get 2 wins over a top 5 team in the state of Kentucky?
It's always great to play Station. It's a big rivalry, especially around these parts. But it's always great because there's a lot of talent between the two teams. And every time we play each other, it's always a packed house. It's always loud. We got cheerleaders doing a bunch of flips at halftime and all that. But it's always great to play them and picking up those 2 wins against them, especially with them being top 5. It's just great to be able to beat them twice and, kind of, set the standard for our district play. And that was our first game in the district. So it's always huge to beat Station, and especially for our first game, it was big to pick that one up.
I think that kind of just shows how strong and competitive this 11th region is. I haven't even mentioned that yet, but it's, we always talk about the 7th region out of Louisville, but man, it's going to be hard to find a better region than the 11th this year. You have Lexington Catholic, you have Sayre, you have Henry Clay. Madison Central has been amazing this season. How can you forget the top 3 though? Frederick Douglass, Bryan Station, Great Crossing, and there's other teams in there that are good teams. Frankfort has a very good record that will definitely compete and make games interesting. So the 11th region this year is hard. Everybody wants to talk about Rupp Arena and making it to state, but you got to get through that region first. So It's going to be a battle, and I know Coach Garvin's putting you on those right spots. The schedule's starting to heat up, though, even more. You guys will have Station again toward the end of February. You guys will play Manual at the end of January, going into February, excuse me. You guys will play Manual in February. But, you have 2 big games coming up with Henry Clay and Madison Central. Madison Central has been a little bit of a shocker to some people. Jake Fieldhouse has been one of the best players in the state. So tell me about this schedule coming up, man, these big 2 games, and how you guys are going into them with a positive mindset.
We just want to continue our success. Coach Garvin says the next game is our biggest game purely because it is our next game. It's the biggest game of the season. But every game we go in, we prepare, we watch a lot of film, practice obviously hard. But with these upcoming games, they're big region games. They're games that will help us, really get earn even more respect, Make sure everybody knows that we're here and we're not playing around. But especially with Clay, that'll be a huge district game to get. Madison Central shocking a lot of people. That'll be a big one to get as well. And they're both home games, which should be good for us, should help us out a little bit. But we just want to keep our continued success and keep on winning and win these big games.
DeMarcus, you're having a good season so far. I know you've dealt with some injuries. I know at the Fairdale, the King of the Bluegrass, the ankle wasn't doing you any justice, man, going into that at all. And now, I've heard you were sick a little bit. I've just heard it's been a rough fast 2 weeks for DeMarcus, man. But you guys are winning games. You're playing in these games, and we have to talk about your teammate, man. We got to show Jonte some love. How big of an addition has he been, man, being here at Douglass? And a lot of games when you're out, you're not at your 100%. He's able to take over and lead the team to a win. How great is it to play with a guard like that right beside you on the floor every night?
Well, it's great to have JJ. With JJ being a senior, a lot of people would think he would come in, try to take over the team. But that's not what it is. JJ came, he bought in. He bought into what Garvin was preaching. He does the dirty work. He
Mhm.
gets points. He scores if he has to. He rebounds. He plays great defense. And having someone else right next to me that can do what I do at almost the same level, if not the
Yeah.
same level, it's always great to have that 1-2 punch because it just makes it even harder on the defenses. And JJ is such a great teammate as well, and a great guy. Also a good leader. So, it's always great to have someone like that. And he's a big reason for our success. And he's a huge reason why we win games.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to see two guards combined averaging over 30 points a game as a duo. You guys are both averaging over 15 a game right now. It's a great 1-2 punch to have that. And yes, you want the 30 points to 20 points, but you guys just go back and forth together so well. You guys aren't worrying about stat padding. It's all about winning games, putting up, winning numbers necessarily. So no one's really fighting for it, anything like that. But I want to ask you this. We're going to talk about this the Douglas roster a little more. I want to talk about Tate Robinson, Dakari Talbert. I know Avion Chenault is back with the team. So talk about that addition of getting Avion back and kind of the energy he brings to this team.
Yeah, Avion's another guy, senior. He's buying in, and freak athlete. I know you mentioned something about me being a human highlight reel, but he's just it's almost every game, he has a highlight. But we got guys like Tate Robinson. I think he's shooting over 50% from three. I personally think he's the best shooter in the state. Then you have Dakari Talbert, great floor general, younger as well, but he's really stepped up into his role. And, he's a great facilitator and plays defense. I honestly think we have 9 to 10 guys that can go in the game and help us. We got guys like Terry Kaysen, James Clare. I haven't mentioned that are bruisers down low. We have Travis Jones, backup point guard. He also facilitates.
Yes.
We got Big Nate Cohen. I know you're a fan of Nate.
I'm a big Nate fan.
And Nate's fine. Nate's been doing a lot better. And he's a 6'7" guy that you can put down in there, and he's a force in the paint. But I think we have a great roster from top to bottom, and I think we have a lot of guys that can wear teams out because of how many bodies we can throw out there.
Well, there's a lot of guys on that roster who will make impacts at the college level too. I mean, there's so many smart, high IQ guys. You have your guys like a Travis who is an electric defender. Dakari Talbert is a name that really does need to be talked about more because I think in games, especially at Lexcath, where you were out, you weren't able to play. He was able to take the helm at times, run the offense, and he looked great doing it despite, being a younger guy, a sophomore. So this Douglas team is deep. This Douglas team is a lot of fun, and Coach Garvin's doing a great job. Coach Smith, all the guys are doing a lot of fun with this team. You guys are winning games. The schedule's not even as hard yet. You guys still have a lot of big games, especially in that district and region. So it's going to be fun. But, DeMarcus, we got to talk about one more thing, man. Let's put that to the side. The recruiting process, we knew it was heating up this summer. We knew it was a lot of fun. We put some graphics out. We talked about it. Tell me about the recruiting process right now, man. Tell me about some of the teams who's talking to you the most.
So I'd say for the teams that have offered, I'd say NKU, Kent State, and EKU. Those are the biggest ones. I have some other schools that haven't offered yet that I'm hoping I can get, Miami of Ohio, Liberty, Akron. Talking to Murray State a little bit. But some coaches have been reaching out. And it's great. I'm honestly blessed. And I mean, it's an amazing feeling, but some of these coaches have been reaching out throughout the season and, especially when those tournaments were going on. But right now I'd say those schools are the biggest ones. And, I just want to keep showing what I can do. So they keep coming.
Well, DeMarcus, it's fun right now. You're getting to experience the recruiting process and the success and the winning. I know things are just going to continue to get fun. If you've not got to keep up with DeMarcus Wright, make sure to follow him on social medias. Make sure to catch him in person. He's one of the most fun players you're going to watch in the state. I promise you. I've got to watch you over 5 times now, and it's always fun, especially when this guy's healthy. And now that we're seeing DeMarcus get a little bit fully back healthy, it's just going to keep getting fun. DeMarcus, leave something off for the people watching here, and especially the Douglas fans, and thank you for hopping on.
Just don't count us out. Y'all already tried to do it, but y'all see what we can do, and just beware. Watch out for us in the postseason for sure.
Of course, DeMarcus, and shout out Lavelle Martin. Of course, we have to shout out the man Lavelle. DeMarcus, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for making your debut. It was fun. We'll have you on again soon. Of course, man. That was DeMarcus Surratt making his debut on the show. DeMarcus, one of the most fun and most entertaining players to watch, but he leads to success. He leads to winning. His recruiting is really starting to pick up a little bit. We got 3 more guests for you all. I'm not sure if Jake Fieldhouse is going to be able to make it tonight. I know he was busy, had some things going on. And then Eli Finley, of course, out right now due to the All-A championship tonight. They were able to win that against Harlan County. So congrats, Eli. Not going to be able to make the show tonight, but we'll have him next week. we'll get things going. But our next guest is the number 1 ranked sophomore in the state of Kentucky. He needs no introduction. His name is Davier White. He's one of the top players in the state. His stats right now going into the season are amazing, but more importantly, Taylor County is winning games. He's got a great recruiting process going right now. Teams talking to him, visits coming on. So without further ado, let's get Davier White on here to make his show debut, talk all things Taylor County basketball and how his season's going. Davier, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me.
Of course, Davier. Let's talk about Taylor County first. We're going to show some love to you and your individual stats, of course, but Taylor County looks really good right now, man. I think a lot of people going into the season kind of had Greene County and Adair as their favorites in the 5th region, and it still might be their favorites, but Taylor County is looking great. They're really looking good right now. You guys are going into things with a 14-3 record. You guys are 3-2 in region right now. But the guys are gluing together. The team's playing really well together. You're winning games. You and Lakin both scoring over 20 a night right now. So just tell me about this roster. Tell me about some of the other guys that make this Taylor County team special.
So, of course, me and Lakin, we got, like they said, a 1-2 punch.
Mhm.
But then we have the other guys, like, know a lot about him. J-Ron, he brings energy every day like no other person I know before.
Yeah.
And even though we don't have a lot of offensive guys, but they buy in, they know their role. We're getting better. We're learning each other, learning how to play with each other. So it's just a process of, like I said, learning how to play with each other. And we got pro guys like Kobe Colvin, and just he does the dirty work. So we don't got a lot of guys like that. So having him, that's a blessing.
Well, it's always helpful to have Big Red in there as Kels, of course. Whenever Brighton's
Yeah.
playing, Brighton is about as big as a pest as you'll find inside in the low interior on the block. So Brighton's a super fun player to watch, man. But you guys have some really big wins so far going into the season. Davier, you guys had some success at the Derby City tip-off up there in Louisville when you guys played in that. And the Win City Holiday Classic, you guys battled with GRC, but won a game against Davis County. You guys have beat Caverna. You guys have beat Glasgow. You guys have beat Grayson County. So you guys have some good wins to add to that. You guys have took some losses, but you guys have grown from them and obviously found some more success. Right now, you guys have one of the hardest 2-game slates coming up. We talked about that 5th region, but you have Greene County, which you said was canceled. What's marked canceled, but more importantly, Friday you have Adair County. Going into a game like that, which you've already played this season, and it didn't go your all's way. How are you guys kind of preparing for that game coming up?
Really just gotta trying to watch film, learn what they do right, what they do wrong. But really just us focusing on what we do right, what we do wrong, because we can control what we do. We can't control what they do. So we just gotta buy in together and just forget about what happened in the past, because that's the past. We can't control that. So just come in, play our best basketball that we can, because that's what we can control. So hopefully they don't shoot how they did first time, because they was lights out. And we could have done. But just let God control it and just do the best we can. Just have fun, most importantly.
Of course, Davier, of course. You hit on it perfectly, Davier. Let's talk about your individual stats so far, man. I know you're a really humble guy. You're all about winning. That's one thing I really like about you. But you're averaging 20-plus points per game right now. You're shooting about the most efficient 20 in the game right now, shooting 57% from the field and over 50% from the three-point line. So, going into this season, a lot of people were ranking you high, respecting you high. You had a lot of pressure going in, and I know that's definitely not easy to handle. But how would you say you're feeling right now through your season, how you're playing, and how you kind of feel at this midway point?
I feel real good, real confident. Just knowing the work I put in, because the work I put in just gives me more confident, knowing what I can do. But like you said, the pressure before the season, because last year with that Final Four team at Evangel, I was like 3rd, 4th option. Just learn how to know my role. That was the biggest part of that. But then the rankings, I wasn't really the biggest on that. I was blessed to have that name, but it wasn't my biggest goal. My biggest goal, get to the next level, continue to get better. But the pressure, just knowing that, it gets to you sometimes, but you just got to keep going, because my coaches know, my teammates know, you go through stuff before the season, but you can't let that control you. So just thanking them for helping me and continue to work, really.
Yeah, moving on it day by day, just getting better daily. And I know you train with some of the best out there, man. You train with Quentin Goodwin every once in a while, and you can't really ask for a better, guy to be around than Gooden. With his success that he's had playing at Taylor County, it's obviously a great guy to kind of be there with. How much do you think the workouts this summer and putting in continuous work has really helped you? And what was the kind of difficulty you had to go through this summer to get to where you're at?
Mainly just with him doing, like you said, with the success he had, and also being from here, just him being like that older brother to me, somebody I can look up to, I can talk to, and also he's tough. Like the late night 1-on-ones,
Yeah,
the training, it was rough with him, but at the end of the day, he wants the best for me, so I know I couldn't run from it. But early in the beginning of the season, like from family stuff, from just basketball stuff, stress, just depending on God, just doing what I can, controlling it.
of course. And it's probably really humbling when you go into a 1v1 against Gooden because, man, the man has about as fun as a pass you can get, a professional player, collegiate player. And I'm sure there's a lot of nights you aren't happy with the income, but it kind of builds you into this player, man. You guys got a fun schedule coming up. Taylor County basketball looks really good right now. You guys are 14-3. You're having a huge season, Dave. You're going to keep it up. I know you're going to keep it up, getting better daily by day. Just continue to improve your game, work hard. Dave, say something out there to the fans who's watching from Taylor County, man.
Just thank you for having me, really. And just, it's a blessing being here. The people around me just can't get better. Continue to work. Thank you.
Davier, thanks for hopping on, man. We hope to have you on again soon. Got to watch you soon. Last time I went and watched you, you gave me 43. So it was fun, Davier. Thanks for coming on, man. Hope to see you again soon. Of course. Xavier White, about one of the best players you're going to find in the state of Kentucky, a super fun guy to watch play. He's as efficient as it gets. He contributes to winning almost better than anybody. Love to have Xavier White on here. Love getting him to get on here and talk. It's his first time on here. Xavier's about as fun as it gets. Next up, I talked about DeMarcus Surratt being about as fun as it gets, but this guy is the athletic man. This guy is the fun, the hype, the human highlight reel we talked about. He's one of the best dual sport athletes you can find around the state. But his recruitment's starting to heat up a lot. This guy is now part of an NIL group. He's moving on a little bit, moving on a little too big for me. I think it's going to be fun to talk to him and see how things are going for Austin Sperry out of Breathitt. This will be his debut for us today. Austin, what's up, man? How you doing? Let me fix you, Austin. I think it had you muted. Austin, how you doing, man?
Good. I'm doing good. How are you?
It's awesome, man. I'm doing great. This show's a little fun so far. It's finally about time we get you over here, get you on here. Austin, for those that might not know you around the state, tell us about you. Some people might still be familiar with you. I know I was talking to some people earlier. They find you as the most underrated player statewide because you're not being put in a lot of conversations that you need to be. I think some people might forget how good Austin Sperry is. Austin, you're a tremendous player to watch. Tell us about you. Tell us about your game and how your season's going so far with Breathitt.
Mostly about my game. I think I'm a little underrated just because of where I'm from. It's kind of hard to, get out to Eastern Kentucky. A lot of people aren't from there. And about my game, I'm really just I think I'm a pretty solid passer and a 3-level scorer. So those are most things I can do. And I can defend also, so.
Well, Austin, things are definitely getting fun for you right now for the recruiting process. I know we talked about it the other day. Things are really starting to heat up for you. Teams are reaching out. Teams are coming to watch. Teams are talking to you a little bit. You can't play AAU anymore, man. It's that senior season. So now is when things really start to heat up. The colleges are talking to you. Talk to us about some of the teams that have offered you, Austin, and some of the teams that's talking to you the most right now.
I've been offered by Eastern, Northern, Ohio University, and a couple others, and I've been in contact with Colorado State and Iowa mostly right now, and I really have my eye on Iowa, so hopefully they can get out to a game or something here soon.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun to have colleges at that level kind of give you some attention, come watch you play. I know it's going to be a show to come down and watch Austin play, man. It's going to be fun. And I think you hit the nail on the head, man. It's obviously harder to be from Eastern Kentucky. The support isn't as strong over to there by some people. The medias don't go out there as much. So you really have to work like 2 times. You kind of got to work overtime, man, to get some of that publicity and get some of those looks. But Austin, let's talk about Breathitt County basketball right now, man. Setting at the mid-season mark, you guys are at 11-4. You're averaging 21 points a game right now. What's some things you think you all need to improve on, some things you all could build on, and, finishing out this season, what's some things you look to see?
Mostly, I'm not mad about our losses or anything. I mean, 3 of them are from Hazard, and they're a top 4 team in the state. I'm pretty sure they're ranked 4th right now, so they're a really good team. But like I said, I'm not mad at our losses. We're a really young team. I think I'm mostly the most experienced guy that's on the team. Everybody else is just now getting a feel for high school basketball. So I'm really happy with what we're doing. Coaches really got us working hard, and I couldn't be more grateful for my teammates and everything I'm playing with. So I'm really happy with what we got going on right now.
Of course, Austin, and I know you kind of mentioned that 3 of the losses are to the same team. You guys have had to play that Hazard team multiple times, but especially when you look at it from a statistical standpoint, you guys are making a better competition against them every time, which kind of shows you guys are improving and getting better after every loss. If you look at this schedule, you guys have some big games coming up. I know Saturday you guys have Harlan County, which is going to be a battle. That's going to be a fun one. 2 of the top players in the state kind of going at it with Austin Sperry and Maddox Huff. You know, how do you kind of go into a game like that with all the antics, all the hype? It's a big win that would really help continue to get you all y'all's respect.
Maddox is a great player, and Harlan County is a great, well-coached team. I mean, they got a bunch of pieces with Maddox and Reggie, and I'm not sure what their big man is down low, but and they also have shooters. So they're a really good team, and I'm really excited to be able to play them. And it's finally a home game now. So we've only played 2 home games, so we finally get a home game against the top 25 team in the state. I mean, you get that really does get your blood flowing. So I'm really excited to be able to play against him and Harlan County.
Yeah, well, you kind of hit the nail on the head, man. It's not easy playing almost every game on the road. You know, you guys haven't really been able to sit down, chill out, play a home game. It's really going to help you all mentally, help the team get around together. But, you know, I'll be honest with you, man. Breathitt County hasn't been able to be covered as easy as I wish it could be. It doesn't really get the respect at times it should be.
Exactly.
You know, tell me about this roster and the coaches and some of the other guys that make this team special for me.
I'll start off with just saying our bigs down low, Kanan Gross and Braxton Terry. I mean, those guys literally battle every single night. I mean, they play probably harder than anybody. They rebound, they play defense, they do all the little dirty things that doesn't really get credit for. So you can't be mad at those guys. You gotta love them. And then we got our shooters, Joseph Honeycutt, Aaron Stallard, and Peyton Collins. Those guys, I mean, they can light it up any night, and I'm really proud of them because they've been able to defend more than people thought they really could. So they've stepped up and they've been able to guard people, and I'm really proud of them for that. And every day, Coach Honeycutt's talking about in practice, we need to be able to guard, and just them being able to buy in, being able to guard. I love that for them.
Of course, Austin, I'm going to hit you with this question because, I mean, I ask every guy from this area of Kentucky the same question. You kind of heard me do it with Matthew earlier, being from Western Kentucky. But, you know, sometimes it's harder for the Eastern and the Western Kentucky kids to get attention, get as much publicity. And a lot of times they're kind of disrespected in conversations. You know, tell me about this Eastern Kentucky talent pool, because I've had a guy like Braxton, Keithley, Maddox. They've all came on here, gave me their side of it, how they felt about it. Tell me about this Eastern Kentucky talent pool and what makes it so special, and why these guys deserve the same love and attention as guys maybe from a bigger city, a Bowling Green, a Lexington, a Louisville.
Well, I mean, obviously there's more people in Louisville and Lexington, so they're obviously going to be seen more. But, I mean, you look at the Braxton, Keithley, or just like guys like Seth Cottle that play for Hazard. I mean, they don't get looked at as much because it's just not a bigger city. And I wish we had a big media or something that was around so we could be seen more. But you got to give props to those guys because even when they're not being video or doing the media stuff, they still go in and they buy in, working hard because, I mean, that's just what we're known. Eastern Kentucky's known for that. So you got to give credit where credit's due with those guys, and you got to respect that.
It's definitely fun out there, Austin. It's like a whole different brand of basketball, the physicality, the way guys playing. And I love it myself personally, man. It's a hard drive, and it's obviously hard for a lot of people. But, you know, when you have a place like a D&D Sports Media who's able to actually go video games, put some things out, I'm always going to promote guys like that who are able to put that out on the table, because there's not a lot of people who do it anymore, which sucks. But that's why we do things like this, try to spread, you know, more a little bit more love, try to get it more seen. Austin, thanks for hopping on the show tonight, man. Talk about Breathitt a little bit, how you're playing. Show some love to the Eastern Kentucky guys. That commitment, man, we hope it's soon. We'd love to see it. Definitely
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Definitely excited for that. Leave one thing off for the Breathitt County fans tuning in.
I really ain't got to say much for the Breathitt County fans. They always come out and support, even when we're at away games. So I love our fans, and I couldn't be more happy with them.
Austin, thanks for coming on, man. It was a pleasure having you. We hope to talk to you again soon, man. Of course. Austin Sperry, one of the most entertaining, fun, highly recruited players in the state of Kentucky, actually. Austin's recruitment has really started to pick up. It's starting to get fun. He's having a really good season, shooting averaging 21 points a game on over 50% from the field. So the guest list is kind of starting to get shorter. We have 2 more guests. We just had our guy Jake join behind the scenes, which is great to see there. Hopefully to get Jake here on in a second. Cameron and Mike's on. It's going to be our next 2 guests, first time on the show, so it should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and welcome in. I think from what we've seen, from what I've been told, obviously we need to do a little more digging, maybe make sure we're true, but Austin Sears is averaging the most points out of any starting freshman in the state of Kentucky right now at 16.5 points per game. So let's welcome on, as we know, the highest scoring freshman in the state of Kentucky, one of the most entertaining players you'll find, an absolute sniper, great playmaker. And, he might be 5'10", but man, he plays like one of the biggest, strongest, toughest guys on the floor. So Austin Sears. Austin, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. We've shared a lot of conversations behind the scenes. We got to talk, do things, but it's really good to have you on here, man. Your first time on here, and we got to start it off being brutally honest, man. You're having a great season. You're putting yourself on notice to a lot of different people who may have not known you around the state. I think your King of the Bluegrass performances were phenomenal, man. You're averaging 16.5 points a game right now. Your efficiency really speaks volumes, shooting 47.5% from the field right now. And you're obviously one of the top shooters in the state of Kentucky, especially from beyond the arc. And Austin, kind of tell me about it so far. How are you happy with your freshman season and how things are going?
Yeah, I've definitely proved a lot of people wrong because people always thought I was the short white kid that could shoot.
Yeah.
I really proved more than just that. I can play make, get my team open, make winning plays, get to my spots, just create offense for my team and just make winning plays.
Well, going into the season, North Oldham didn't get as much hype and respect as I feel they deserved. You guys lost your 2 first games, and I feel some people might have kind of moved on quickly, might have kind of forgot about you all, wasn't showing too much respect. But then King of the Bluegrass comes around. You guys beat Adair County, the top team in the 5th region. You guys beat South Laurel, one of the top teams in Eastern Kentucky with one of the best players in the state, and Jordan Mabe. You battle with Bryant, Arkansas. You get in a battle with Frederick Douglass. So I feel like the games that you played there really put this team on notice, put a guy like you on notice. Tell me about this North Oldham team. Tell me about some of the other guys on the roster and what makes you all special.
Yeah, we're a special group. We had some early losses that were close games to a top 10 team, Ballard, who just went 2-point loss to Say-X. But we're finally figuring out whose role is role. Just got 3 back-to-back 30-point wins. Just basically figuring out what team we are, sharing the ball a lot more, and just picking up wins, and then just not losing the games that we should not lose.
Of course. Austin, we got to talk about one of your best teammates, one of your close friends, Tommy Gregg. Tommy, another guy like you, had a huge showing at the King of the Bluegrass, really got to show the full player he was, really put a lot more people on notice. Tell me one thing about this North Oldham team is you guys are young. You guys have multiple sophomores, multiple younger guys. You got a guy named Rajon Pierre Rondo Jr., who is a 7th grader. So, this North Oldham team is in good hands for the future. But tell me about some of the young guys on this team.
Yeah, so from last year, we lost our entire starting lineup, and we had guys had to step up, like Pierre. They didn't play much towards the season. We had a dude transferred, stepped up, 6 men on the team. Tommy, a lot better. Little inconsistent at first in the season, but starting to pick it up. Brooks Cargo, probably one of the best shooters in the country, averaging around 11, 12 a game. And then Grace Middle, our little guy, can do anything. He can give you 3 to 4 threes a game. Guy that plays defense and just everywhere on the floor. And then Colin, transfer from Cal that came this year, can really just do everything, dunk the ball, get rebounds. He's really our energy guy.
Mm-hmm. Austin, I know it feels good, watching your class succeed. We have to talk about this freshman class, man. They've been great so far. Jordan Mitchell, Josh Lindsay, Boogie Cook, Jordan Jackson, so many other guys stepping up too that I didn't just mention there. And, then you got a guy like a Rajon Pierre Rondo, who's a 7th grader. So these young guys are stepping up around the state. How does it feel to see some of your former AAU teammates, some of your former good friends, how does it feel to see these young guys stepping up and having great varsity careers so early?
It's great seeing our class of 2028 succeed. I think we're one of the best class in Kentucky, probably in a long time. We got multiple, probably future Division I athletes. It's just great for everyone succeeding at their level.
Of course, man, you got a guy like a Josh Lindsay, Austin Sears, Jordan Mitchell, three of the most known, famous guys around the state. You guys are really getting that publicity early, which is always great. You guys are producing early, which is more importantly, you guys are succeeding in the summertime, in the AAU scene, in the basketball scene, regular season. So it's really great to see that. Austin, I know the success comes with a lot of hard work. I know you work out with Greg Cowan. You put in a lot of work consistently going up against a guy like a Brax Keithley, a Ty Price. You know, you're always having to play harder competition. How big has that contributed to your success early, you feel like, and being able to deal with that physicality that these older guys bring?
I think Ty Price and Braxton, just working with them, probably one of the top 1 and 2 scorers in the state, just working with them every single day, just seeing what they do on a day-to-day basis. Just great for me playing against older, stronger guys like Ty Price at UT, Martin Commit. It's just awesome for me just to be able to work out with future D1 athletes and just to see their point of the game.
Well, it definitely shows in your game, Austin, not just for the way you play, but able to handle the physicality. Austin, North Oldham looks good right now. You guys look a lot of fun. You guys have a big game against Cal coming up, and then you got your Oldham County games, which will always be fun. You guys sit at 12-6. The team's looking good right now. You guys really started to heat up mid-December, and you guys are following up with that. Austin, leave something off for the North Oldham fans who's tuning in today.
Hey, don't count us out. Rivalry week this week, and I just can't wait. Appreciate y'all.
Of course. Austin, thanks for coming on, man. I didn't want to hold you too long. Great job, man. Thanks for making your debut tonight. Hope to see you again soon, man. Of course. Austin Sears, one of the top freshmen in the state of Kentucky, one of the most fun, entertaining players you're going to find around here. A small guard who makes noise, makes plays, makes things happen, and that's what I love. He's able to handle the physicality and the older and the toughness of the seniors, the older guys, despite being a freshman with a smaller frame. And Austin's a super fun player, and we're going to have him on again soon. Don't worry. He's averaging 16.5 points a game right now, which to us is known on KHSA. The top freshman we've seen, we could be wrong. If there's someone else, show us. Let us know. I'd love to throw them appreciation and put them out there too as well. Great job, Austin. Great to have you on, man. And if my guy Jake is ready behind the scenes, we'll get Jake on next. Jake Fieldhouse has been, one of the top names, top players this season. His name really started blowing up within the last 2-3 weeks, man. He had some huge performances against top teams like Great Crossing. He's averaging 21.5, 12 rebounds a game right now. He's 2026 junior. He's picking up offers. His recruitment is starting to heat up, and I know that's fun. I know that's something you love to, experience. He's one of the top dual sport athletes. Great golfer. We don't know Mo, though. We got to see the golf. We got to see golf continue, but he's coming off a state championship in golf. I know he's pumped. I know he's excited. Well, I won't ask him too many golf questions because I'm not a huge golf guy, but Jake, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
What's up? Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. How are you?
Of course, man. I'm doing great. I had to get the hottest name in Kentucky high school basketball on the show right now, man. It's been a big last few weeks for you, man. I know you got to say that. You've had some big-time performances, a lot of media showing you love. I know a lot of AAU teams are hitting the phone, so it's like you're focused on the season, but a lot of other things are happening. So, it's really glad to have you on here for your debut, man. But let's talk about your season so far, man. You're 21 points a game, 12.5 rebounds. We knew with your last name you would have a really successful career, man. You come from a long, successful, family. But tell me about this season so far, man, and how you're playing.
Yeah, so I came in from golf, and I got in there before the football players did, but just kind of came in a little out of shape, and I never really had a love for basketball. And this year is I just found a love for basketball, and it's started off the season a little slow. I don't think my first 3 or 4 games, I don't think I had 20 points or anything. I was just out there playing a role spot and getting rebounds and doing the dirty work. And I really kind of adapted throughout the early part of the season. And I think it was really the Bryan Station game that I kind of just found my momentum. I think I had 27 and 19, and I found my momentum. And from there on, I was just giving it my all and trying the ball, and that's what I don't know.
You're really starting to find that love now, like you kind of mentioned, and a game like that can really boost it all, man. It can really be that uplifting game. Since that Bryan Station game, you guys have lost 1 game. So there really has been, I feel like, you guys have lost 2 games. I feel like it really has been like a cultural flip, a change a little bit in the program. You guys are playing a lot better, after that Bryan Station game, which you kind of mentioned. But, the Great Crossing game was a big-time game, man. We got to talk about it. You guys didn't come out with the win, but, you go up against a strong, physical, college-level team like that, a guy like a Malachi Moreno, and what you did was you thrived. You had 29 points, 5 rebounds. You shot the ball well. You made a lot of collegiate-level plays, and I think that's really what's helped have the phone, kind of buzzing all the time now. And, going into a game like that against big-time players, big-time, just a big atmosphere, how do you guys get ready for that? Because some people still aren't familiar with Madison Central and who they are.
Yeah, we were flying under the radar, and we kind of knew that this would be the marker of where we are at. And that's what coach had told us all week. He's like, this is gonna show where you guys really are within the season. And in the first quarter, I think we were all kind of passive, especially with Malachi. I know I was passive with Malachi. And I mean, you don't really realize how big the kid is until you're standing next to him. Like he's not 7'1" and a stick. Like he's a big dude. Yeah. And so we're all shot the three pretty well, to be honest. And it's just so hard to get a rebound. You're focusing on Malachi and you forget that they have another big guy, Vince. Like he's there to get the rebound if Malachi's not. And we're just playing hard. And then after that first quarter, I think I hit like a up and under lay on him. And then I hit a jump shot. And then I let one go at the top of the key for three. And I think that's where I really found my momentum. And from there, I was like, I gotta, for us to have a chance within this game, I gotta be a key piece. And that's what they had been telling me all week. And we played really well. It was the best team ball that we've played all year. I mean, obviously we lost by 4, but it kind of felt like a win to us, knowing where we came from and how much more we have to improve. Like we were looking back at the game, and I think we decided on there was one bad shot. And I think Cody, our senior, took one fast three within the third quarter or fourth quarter, but really that was our only bad shot. Just driving, penetrating the ball, getting into the paint, turn around, kick out three, and trying to do whatever we could and succeed on offense, complete our sets, and mainly not letting them get the offensive rebound on their end, which is really hard to do. I think they had like 18 second chance points, which that's just way too many. So but just really, really found the momentum and got going there.
It's a hard team to play. Great Crossing has played probably one of the hardest schedules countrywide. These guys go to so many events. They know these games, but to compete with them like that within 4, it's honestly a win on your all's part, a game that could be decided by multiple possessions, but the thing is, Jake, it's not getting any easier, man. The schedule continues to heat up. You guys have a really big, I think it's next upcoming 3-game stretch. I know you guys have Lincoln and Western Hills, but after that, man, you still have to go through a North Laurel, a Trinity, a Douglas. It's not slowing down. It's going to continue to heat up, and, it's kind of heating up at the right time, getting you all ready for that region and district play. The 11th region is on another level this season. And with the way you guys have been playing, we're looking at Madison Central as a contender, as one of the front-running teams. How do you do it in the 11th region when every night you play a top team, a competitive, a strong team? How do you guys go into these games? Because, you can go up against a team with a really bad record and, with the blink of an eye, you guys lose to a team you shouldn't lose to. So, how's the confidence right now? How you guys feeling playing in this tough region?
I think we're feeling great. I think it really all just starts off in practice. And if we succeed in practice and we're going hard in practice, it gives us a lot more momentum and breaking down film and just really locking in. You just got to lock in for those games. And we don't have a good win against a top-ranked opponent like Bryan Station or Great Crossing. And so we're really searching for that big win. And I think we have everything that it takes. We just have to put everything together, and we're just going to really have to lock in within these next games in regular season for us to do that, and just make sure we take care of business for the teams that we have to, and just really compete in practice and make ourselves better within that, and then just follow the game plan, and I think we'll be good.
Of course, man, this Madison Central team, we love Jake Feldhouse, but there's a lot of guys on this team right now making noise. You guys have 4 guys scoring in double digits: Will Richardson, Cody Morrison, Luke Asher, and yourself. Tell me a little bit about this roster and some of the guys who make this team special. It's a junior-heavy team. There's a lot of juniors on this team. Tell me about this team and what makes it special.
I think on any given night, out of us 4, you never know who's going to go crazy. Like Luke, he started us strong within the season. I think he got up to like averaging 23 for the first few games, and really any of us can take over the game at any point in time. Luke, really good driver, and also is a threat from behind the arc. And then Cody, he gets to the rim so well and plays off 2 feet, just a very, very strong finisher. And a lot of people don't know how well he can shoot. He actually hit a few big game time threes within that Great Crossing game. I think he hit like 2 to 3 back to back to back. And then Will, very, very knockdown shooter. Don't leave him open. Cannot leave him open. And then, it just really any of us, I mean, you never know what's going to happen within all of us. I think it's been me recently, but I can't just focus on me because they're going to do something else too.
Yeah,
and without them, we wouldn't be who we are.
It's a fun team, man. A lot of fun scores. You guys play great defense. You know, the points averages for other teams are slowly coming down. You guys are really starting to build together, get to know each other, fit your roles, play great. Jake, we have to talk about the recruitment right now for basketball. You know, it's starting to heat up a little bit. You've received 2 offers. You offer from Tennessee Tech and Jacksonville University. The recruiting process, you saw the love for basketball starting to come. You're really starting to realize how much you love it. And now the recruiting part's starting to come. How you feeling? How you enjoying it, Jack? Because it's a fun process, but it can be a little bit of a stressful, little bit of a busy process as well.
Yeah, I've heard a lot, like they're like, oh, the pressure's off of you now. And I feel more pressure on myself than what I did before. Just like having that, oh, he's got D1 offers. Like, I feel like I have to fulfill a lot of expectations. And really, I just need to go out there and be myself and play my game. And it's really just all new to me. And having my phone's been blowing up. Like I don't really, but I think I'm handling it pretty well. Just responding to everybody and be as nice as possible. And with that, it's really all new to me, and it definitely creates an eventful time within the season.
Yeah. Oh, of course, man. And it's a fun part, but it's something you really, because you got to handle the season. Then you got to handle the recruiting and the talks and the things like that at the same time. But I think you're handling it really well. You are. You know, it's really been popping off right now, and I think it's really cool to see, because going into the season, a lot of people weren't talking about your name. They weren't talking about what makes this Madison Central team special. So I know it's great to see the offers come in, but it's also great to see your team getting respect, you getting respect, and things like that. Follow. Jake, it was your first time on the show, man. I'm really glad to have you on here. Is there anything you want to say to the fans watching, and especially from the Madison Central area?
Oh, just thank you guys for all the support. And there's actually come to all the away games, and thank you guys so much. And thank you for having me.
Of course, man. We'll talk to you again soon in the future. I know it's just now starting to heat up. Love watching how your basketball journey is kind of fulfilling, man. It's really starting to become fun. I know you got the golf pictures in the back, man. I know you're waiting for golf season too. So I think it's going to be a lot to you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, Jake. Thanks for hopping on. Jake Feldhaus makes his debut. He's one of the hottest names in the state right now. His recruitment has completely just transformed recently. Picked up the offer from Jacksonville University and then the offer from Tennessee Tech. So he's the D1 guy now. He talked about getting that love for basketball, really starting to love basketball. He's always been known as a golf guy, but now it's really starting to heat up. Thank you, everybody who enjoyed the guest portion of today's show. We're an hour and 11 minutes in. Now it's going to kind of start to heat up a little bit. Now we change the segments of the show. We're going to be giving out our Detman Law Injury Lawyer Player of the Week. And let's go ahead and do it right now. Your Detman Law Injury Lawyer Player of the Week is Malachi Moreno. And now here's the thing I'll talk about Malachi Moreno. Great Crossing goes 3-0 on the week. They get some big wins. They just coming off a big win against Lloyd Memorial where Malachi Moreno dominated. And here's the thing, too. You look at these last 3 game stats. I tried to do stats from the 12th through the 19th, which today being the 19th. 12th is kind of when the week started. But the day before against Cathedral, Malachi Moreno, they played one of the top teams in Indiana. Multiple commits on that team. Kohler out of going to Notre Dame in Indiana, so another big-time D1 guy. And Malachi dominated. The man had 26 points, 22 rebounds, multiple blocks. He played a great game. And the thing about Malachi Moreno, like you see, is he's as efficient as it gets. And you know, I know some people's not happy with his shot choice. They think he plays too much under the rim, too much lower. But the thing is that he dominates when he gets the ball. He makes plays, and he's the most efficient player in the state when he does it. He's the most impactful, without a doubt, due to his defense and what he does on the defensive end. You're not getting a shot in. It kind of contests every single player. Every team goes into a different motto and a different kind of, game plan going in against Great Crossing. And Great Crossing's really starting to get it going. I think after the loss to St. X, a lot of people questioned who this team was. And, it didn't get easy because you come off that St. X loss, you got to go play in one of the biggest tournaments in the Palm City Classic. And you got to play Christopher Columbus. You got to play the Boozer Twins, which was a hard-fought lost game. You got to play Westminster Academy. You got to play Bishop and Nakamura. You got to play Windmere Prep. I'm naming off these teams that they have played countrywide, which are some of the top teams in the country, especially Columbus, who's without a doubt top 3. So to look at the teams that they're playing and how Malachi is dominating this year, I think it's great to see. I wish sometimes the offense was more ran through Malachi. I do. I wish Malachi got more touches, more possessions. I think his numbers could easily boost. But in this week, in the last 3 games, he averaged 21 points a game, 12.5 rebounds, 4 blocks. We're going to be trying to get a new player every week, but it feels like you could give it to Malachi almost every week for how he impacts the game. Great Crossing went 3-0 on the week. He averaged 21.5, 12.5, 4 blocks. Malachi Moreno is your Detman Law Player of the Week. Malachi, congratulations, man. I know the season's really starting to heat up. Malachi, Kentucky signee, top-rated player in the state of Kentucky, having a really big season for Great Crossing right now. The week was big, but so is his stats right now. He's averaging 22 points, 15 rebounds, and the field goal numbers are obviously great, shooting 70%. So I really want to thank Malachi. He's a big fan of the show. We got to have Malachi on here before, interview Malachi a lot. Great friend of mine, and he deserves this reward with how he's playing right now. Let's talk about our top 10 teams. Our top 10 teams, there's not really much different from last week. Lloyd Memorial takes a step out just with the loss. It's hard to take them out when they play a team like Great Crossing and lose, but, they haven't been impressing me as much as they were at a little bit of the time. But I think Lloyd's going to easily slide back in here. I know Coach Walker, EJ, Ant, I know those guys are going to continue to heat things up. Play is getting tough. They took 2 losses. They took a loss to Cooper and Great Crossing, which I wasn't huge on the Cooper loss. But right now, St. X stays number 1. Congrats, St. X, on winning the LIT. Let's kind of shift the way this show's going. The LIT was really fun this year. I'll say this. They matched up against Trinity. It was a close first quarter, and then they just completely skyrocketed, dominated, and took over. They've won the LIT back-to-back years. One thing about Jeremiah Jackson is he won the LIT MVP today, and he won the King of the Bluegrass MVP. This is the last time somebody's done it since 2009. So Jeremiah Jackson is one of the most impactful, most contributed, most respected players in the state of Kentucky for a reason. Jeremiah Jackson's amazing. He's the best player on that St. X team right now, and he's really leading them to another level. We'll have to get Jeremiah on here soon so we can talk to him. But next up's Great Crossing. I still have the 1 and 2 there. Douglas goes over Bryan Station for me, just getting the 2 wins over him. I think those teams, when they play, it's as competitive and fun as it gets. I like what Frederick Douglass has more at depth than what Bryan Station has, but when Amari Owens plays like he does, it's hard to beat Bryan Station, but he has to have some support and some more numbers around him. And I'm not afraid to say it, putting up 40 points, you just got to have more team support there, more guys putting up numbers to win games. And they know that. I'm not done with Bryan Station. I know they took the 2 losses. This team's still great. This team's still good as it gets. They've still been dominating this season. Covington Catholic is a team that's really getting praise and getting respect, and they deserve it. Going into the season, I talked to a guy like Athens McGillis, and he was pumped for the season. He knew this would be a good year. He knew they would play great. But it's like things are really starting to heat up. Donovan Bradshaw, Athens McGillis, and Cash Harney is one of the best 1-2-3 punch, one of the best trios in the state of Kentucky. They're all averaging over 15 points a game. Athens McGillis is averaging 21 a game. Athens is efficient. Donovan's efficient. Cash is efficient. They're fun players. They contribute to winning, and they're all juniors, so they still have a lot of time to continue to grow. I really like what Donovan offers inside the arc, and I love what Cash and especially what Athens can do behind the arc and contribute and put in buckets from the 3. And I really like this Covington Catholic team. They have some fun wins. They have some fun competitions. They only lost to Ballard by 6. They only lost to Great Crossing by 11. I still prefer them over Ballard right now. I like their schedule and their wins right now. I like how they beat Lloyd Memorial by 4 points. I like that. That's a good win for them. They battled Great Crossing. They destroyed Scott County, and they got a big win against Woodford County by 16 points. That's a really good win. Just kind of seeing how good Woodford County is, led by Armello Boone. Next up is Hazard. I really like this Hazard team. I know a lot of people don't like to see the Eastern Kentucky scene teams because the competition's a little weaker, things like that, but Hazard can come into almost any city and compete. They have 1 loss, which is to a Georgia team, East Hall, by only 2 points. But, they beat Madison Central, which is a team that's been gaining a lot of respect. They've beat Ashland Blazer, and they beat Harlan County. They beat Breathitt County. So they beat Prestonburg by 40 points. They beat all the top teams in Eastern Kentucky in dominant fashion mainly, and I think they got to deserve their respect. We talk about 1-2-3 punches. We have to talk about Dalton Combs, Seth Codell, and Evan Eversole because it's really going to be hard to find a better 1-2-3 than that. Seth is a great mid-range scorer, getting to the rim guy. Evan Eversole is one of the better big men in the state of Kentucky on the low block inside, and then Dalton Combs, he can shoot teams out of games. We've seen him do it against Ashland. He's a great, phenomenal player. I want to see, obviously, the schedule stronger for Hazard. I want to see them play better teams. But with locations and things, it's harder, to play a Louisville or a Lexington or a Bowling Green all the time. It's not that easy. But I like this Hazard team a lot. I love their top 3 guys for sure. I know they have depth. I know they play a lot of good defense. We talk about the best defending teams in the state. We talk about Warren Central, Marshall County, and Hazard probably slides in right there at the 3 spot. I really like them. I'm interested to see how they continue the season. I could see a world where they don't lose another game due to their schedule. But it'll be a lot of fun. I know they got Greene County coming up. That will be a big game to test. I think a lot of people's going to go to that one. I think a lot of people's excited for that Thursday against Greene County. You're going to see one of the best county teams in Greene County who has played the tough competition. They've played the hard Lexington teams. And you're also going to see Hazard coming from Eastern Kentucky, not played the stronger schedule, but they've got big wins still. They got really good players. They got the record. They got the hype around them. So that's going to be a big game. I'm really excited for Greene County and Hazard to see how that pans out. And next up's Warren Central. Warren Central has moved up every single week. and they're going to continue to. They've not played as strong as a schedule as a St. X, a Great Crossing, a Douglas. They haven't, but they still have played a very good schedule. They just beat Bowling Green. They've dominated through the 4th region so far. They have a win over Mill. They have win over out-of-state teams. They went to the Smoky Mountains and won the Smoky Tournament. They dominated Russellville. Now, their only loss on the year is Pleasure Ridge Park. And I've seen a lot of people putting Pleasure Ridge Park over Warren Central. And I like PRP. I think they're a very good team. I think they're deep. I think they have multiple guys who can score, make the games entertaining. But I think Warren Central was the better team. They were without 4 starters. You only have Ant McAfee as your starter of that game who consistently starts. You only lose by 3. It's honestly a better look on Warren Central. If they're healthy, that team wins 10 to 15 different points. So in another universe right now, Warren Central's 15-0. They have the best defense in the state. They're getting a lot more respect than they already are, but they're loved. Ant McAfee is one of the most impactful basketball players in the state. He's averaging 21, 7.5, multiple assists, shooting efficient. He's shooting 55% from the field and 50% from 3. I mean, you really can't get much better than that. 45% from 3, excuse me. But you really can't get more efficient and more dominant than what Ant McAfee is doing right now. Jarrett Kirk, one of the biggest late bloomers. He is just continuing to get better every year of his high school career. He's wherever gets him in college. Armani Bird, Cash Carter, 2 of the best sophomores. They got the glue guys and Ryan Hulpert, Dominique Anthony, Johan Protz out right now, but he's going to continue to get back going and get healthy. But this team's a lot of fun. They really are. I think you need to continue to buy into this Warren Central team. They got a big game against an out-of-state Missouri team coming up, and then they continue to go on against Region 4 teams. They're going to have to play Bowling Green again. They're going to have to play the best team in the 3rd region, Tammany and Butler County, and they got to play Adair County in the 5th region. So the schedule continues to strengthen up. I think we're going to get a real tell for this team when they play a team like an Adair County and a Butler County team. And a Butler County team, I know the record's not great, but they've played one of the hardest schedules. So it's still going to be a battle. It's still going to be a big game for them. Coming in next for me is Greene County. Greene County continues to rise for me. And I was really big on Greene County coming into the season. I've done a lot of work with Greene County. It's because they're a really good team. Their only loss comes against Douglas, which, I mean, who's better than Douglas right now? Maybe 2 teams, Great Crossing and St. X. Douglas has been amazing. We talked about it earlier. But this team has dominated Caverna. They've beat Caverna in the rivalry twice. They beat Louisville Butler, who is a top 25 team. They beat Woodford County. They beat Lexington Catholic, so they have good wins under their belt. And right now they're dominating teams. They really are dominating teams, and they're really fun to watch. I think a lot of people who are showing the respect to Greene County are smart people because this team is fun. Eric James Jr. has been the addition you needed. He's one of the most athletic, college-ready juniors we have in the state of Kentucky. But one guy that I think is still going under radars, and I still think recruitment needs to pick up, is Hayden Blakeman. Hayden Blakeman leading the team in scoring and rebounds, but the thing that makes Hayden so fun is he's a wide body forward who can shoot the ball, he can create, he's got great game IQ. He's really that senior leader this team needs. And then you have Jaden Marr, who's another senior guard who's making plays happen. He has the IQ, he's been here, he knows how things play, and I think he makes this team a lot better. Then you have your juniors, and you have one of the most, if not the most impactful freshmen in the state of Kentucky in Cooper Stone, a 10, 5, and 5 type of player who shoots great efficiency. And I say it every time, it might get old. He plays like a 4 or 5 year vet. He plays like a really smart point guard, and there's not a lot of true point guards left, and I love how he plays. I also got to show some love to Marshall County. We talked about it early. They're yet to lose a game. They've played a tough schedule. They've got big wins against a top 10 team like Ballard, and they've won in dominant fashion. They beat Callaway County by almost 30 points. That's a huge win. That's a dominant win. That's a big-time win you want to add to your resume, and they have that. They'll play them again. They'll continue to play more Western Kentucky teams, but I really like Marshall County, and I really do think they can win that first region and be the team that goes to Rupp again like last year. And Matthew Lange is a phenomenal player. He does everything. He's high IQ'd. He's a respectful player. That's what I like about him most. He's a really good player. He's a really good sportsmanship type of guy. And, he puts in the work. He's every bit of a player that you would like to see. A lot of people's not familiar with him being from Western Kentucky, but he's a beast of a player. And I know a lot of people love him. Last, sliding into that 10 spot. I've had him at 10 before. I've had him at 15. I've had him at 6. It's Ballard. And I really like Ballard. I really do. I've been high on Blake Russell his whole career. And he's really just dominating right now. He's averaging 17 points a game and 8 rebounds. He's one of the best unsigned 2025s. I can say the same for his teammate, Sam Frazier, who's also been big. This team's older. This team is older. They do have a Baron Clay, who's a freshman, who's putting in work. They have a few juniors, but their top 4 scorers are all seniors, and Nick Hayden, Nate Richardson, Blake Russell, and Sam Frazier. different. Sam Frazier and Blake Russell are a really fun, little pick and roll duo, a maestro guys who just really get the job done. Blake Russell shooting 70% from the field. He's one of the best big men in the state of Kentucky. He's in that kind of conversation after a Malachi Moreno and EJ Walker, names like that. EJ being a forward, but those bigger, stronger, taller guys. And I really do like Blake Russell, Sam Frazier, what they have to offer. The only losses for Ballard, they really don't have a bad one. They've lost to Douglas, Woodford. They've lost to Aiken out of Ohio, and they've lost to Marshall County. They recently lost to St. X. They battled St. X statistically better than anybody else has this season. They only lost by 2 points. It's a game that could have been swung many different ways. They were up at half. And I think that kind of shows you how good and legit this team is. Ballard's going to be a threat. They really are going to be a threat in that 7th region. A lot of people talk about St. X, DuPont, Male, Trinity, but Ballard is really putting their name in there this year to be a competition and a competitor. And, how anything goes in that region, they could win it. They could be that team that, punches the ticket. I love St. X to death, but last year, St. X, the hype they had going into the region and they lose a game, I'm still buying into St. X. Don't get me wrong about that. I'm going back to St. X to talk about them. But, we're going to see how it goes. That region's always wide open. Anything can happen. The 7th region is fun. But going back to St. X, I think they're, are they going to lose yet? Are they going to lose to an in-state team? They've had teams battle them. They've had teams play them really good. But it's going to be hard to beat that St. X team and what they can do. We've given our player of the week. We've given our top 10 teams. Now let's talk about some of the things going around right now. St. X and Trinity, it was a really close game in the first quarter, but St. X does what they does best. They can have a bad quarter. They can have a bad half, but they always pull away when it matters most. St. X does that today. Jeremiah Jackson, one of the most impactful players, if not the most impactful in the state of Kentucky. What he does for that team and how he contributes to them it's hard to find someone else who does that. He has killer DNA. He has winning DNA. He makes plays when it happens. We've seen the game winner against Ballard. He's the first KOB and LIT champion. MVP of both since 2009, a player from Trinity. I see Deadstock just posted that. So that's a really big thing. I love Jeremiah Jackson, and I love what he does for this team, but they're deep. They have a Will Hankey, Josh Lindsay, Brandon Days, Graham Chrisman. They have Chance Dillingham. They have so many guys who make plays and wins for this team. It's never going to be the same guy every night. That's what I love about this team, and I think that's what makes them hard to be beaten. The 5th region is crazy. We talked about it with Xavier White. The 5th region is really strong, and I don't think a lot of people are showing it the respect it deserves. And, Greene County going into the season with the 2 transfer additions, we knew they were going to be hard to beat. We knew they were great. They're still my top team in there, but LaRue County has battled some of the top teams in the state of Kentucky. They're not getting the respect I feel they deserve. Taylor County also, they're 14-3. They've lost a few games that you don't want to lose, but they've been great. Taylor County's been great. They've been led by one of the best players in the state of Kentucky, and Xavier White. I think LaRue County, like I said, has been amazing. Adair County is a strong, hard-nosed, physical team, and Bardstown is 7-0 in the region. So this 5th region is really strong. It's got a lot of top competitor teams. Caverna sits at 8-10, but I know they're a team that could always compete with Jalen Crane on their roster. Central Hardin is coached by one of the better coaches in the state of Kentucky, and Tavon Johnson. So they can always compete and come out. They don't have the firepower they've had in the past, but they're still very well coached, and Camden Hogan might be the most slept-on player in that region. So I really like what the 5th region has this year. I'm super excited for the 5th region tournament. Obviously going to have to be there. It sucks. I'm going to be honest. It sucks Adair County doesn't play Greene County in the regular season. It sucks that game was took off the schedule because that could have been one of the biggest games of the season, had game of the year potential, but we're not going to be able to see that until they meet in region. So that's going to be a fun one. I'm interested to see how that goes. Adair and Greene County, I think we're all wanting to see that matchup right now. Region play is here. Yes, region play from the Western to Eastern is kind of starting to slowly, creep in. Everybody's playing district games, region games, and it's fun. It's fun to see these games. You really get to get a full thought, a full, standing, a full ranking on who's the best team in each region. I could go through here and give my best team in each region, but we'd be here all night. We'd be here for a lot of conversations. Julius Edmonds commits to Georgetown. Congrats, Julius Edmonds. Trinity is starting to get some firepower back. They're starting to get their guys healthy. They're starting to look a lot better than what they did preseason and what they did regular season. They looked really bad at KLB. They looked really bad at the holiday Christmas tournament. And now they're kind of starting to turn things around. They're getting guys healthy. They're getting guys back. Garrison Gilvin is one of the most underrated players in the state of Kentucky. And we just recently seen Julius Edmonds commit to the NAIA powerhouse in Georgetown. Congratulations, Julius. I know that's a big, big, big thing and a big accomplishment for him. We've given our player of the week in our top 10 teams. We had some great guests on today. Is it time to panic in Bowling Green, Kentucky? We know in Bowling Green things have been going on, behind the scenes. We know there's been some things. Guys have left. Aiden Sadler moved back to Nashville. Deuce Bailey still on the team. But Bowling Green going into it, we've seen their rankings where teams were putting them. They were ranked high. They're 13-4, but I know a lot of people starting to worry about them. They don't think they have a key guy who can win games. And it's a really spread out offensive team. They really do win by multiple guys, but they look sluggish. They didn't look great against Kirkwood, Tennessee at the Greenwood event. They win the game, but they didn't look like they were really giving that effort. They struggled in that second half against Warren Central where they lost. And they barely went by Barron County. So it feels like it's starting to slow down. It feels like there's some things going on, but I'm looking to see if Bowling Green can keep it up. I think Bowling Green's still 1-2, in that fourth region. I have them behind Warren Central, but I still think they're the team to beat, not named Warren Central in that fourth region. Their schedule's still strong. They still got a lot of good teams they have to play, but it's going to be interesting to see how Bowling Green continues to play. I know people's upset with how things are going on there. They're not exactly happy, but I do expect it to kind of, start getting back to normal, start being back to how it was. Luke Idlet's still one of the best shooters and best scorers in the state of Kentucky right now. Braylon Banks can still give you buckets, and so can Joe Hurt. So I'm interested to see how they get back to what they are normally. I still think they're, like I said, one of the top two teams in that region. And Ant McAfee, who's next. Ant McAfee is, in fact, here. He plays for that Warren Central team who got the win, who's going to be that fourth region player of the year, who's going to be one of the top-ranked kids in that 2025 class, who's going to Bellarmine. He's a great player. He's a winner. He loves to win, and he's here. And a lot of people are starting to get familiar with him, which is great. I move on to this one, Trinity. Are they back? I think we wanted to see a more competitive championship game, but, they're starting to get healthy. The top guys are starting to play better. And we're hoping to see that this team starts getting back. They dominated Butler. They dominated Manual. Those are two big wins. I know they have losses, but they played really good games against South Laurel. Well, they didn't necessarily play great at South Laurel. That wasn't a great game in general, but they only lost by 2 points. They've had multiple losses this year that could be decided by one or two different possessions against Callaway, against GRC. So, the record could be better than what it is, but we knew something was up at Trinity, similar to how we're talking about Bowling Green a few weeks ago. Things can happen. Coaches can change, adjust styles, adjust how they play the game. Relationships can change. All kinds of stuff can change, and it changes teams. Trinity will always play one of the toughest schedules you can. And it's really about to start heating up. They got Covcath, they got St. X, they got Madison Central, North Laurel, Cal. They'll play Cathedral out of Indiana, and they'll play Ballard. So the best, the hardest, the toughest basketball is still yet to come for Trinity. I'm interested to see how they continue to play. I still think Jaden Johnson, boost winning as much as anybody else in the state. I think he's still the biggest impact player you can find at times, a 15, 7, and 6 type of player on good efficiency. Want to see him be more hungry, want to see him be more aggressive, and I really feel like he will, because coming off these games, I think they are all, coming with a little bit of excitement because, it was rough, but now things are starting to look better. You're starting to see a little bit of, blue sky, and I know they're definitely going to be more happy down there at Trinity. I know it's a tough loss to take today, but you got to look at what you did to get there. And I think Trinity's going to be a lot more excited. Ashland Blazers, Xander Carter, one of the Mr. Basketball candidates, one of the top players in the state of Kentucky, isn't really getting the love and the attention he deserves. He's a 24, 5-5 type of player. Probably more than that, man. He's definitely being one of the top leaders in assists this season. And he does it on such a good turnover to assist ratio. He's so efficient. The guy shoots 62% from the field and 52% from the three-point line. And, when he gets to the free throw line, he's shooting 70%. I know I'll give Xander a hard time. He's got to boost those numbers up a little bit. But the Liberty signing looks great right now. If Xander Carter maybe commits a year later, a few months later, I think his name and his talks gets mentioned a lot more. I really do. But I think some people might forget, he's committed, but he's still one of the top players in the state of Kentucky. He's still in my top 3 ranks right now for that 2025 class. I still think he's a Mr. Basketball candidate. He could end up winning it. I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. He's a phenomenal player. Ashland continues to get more and more healthy. And I think it's really fun to watch his team. They've won 8 straight games. They just got a good win against Bardstown. They dominated Lincoln Academy. They still have good wins on their schedule. They beat Harlan County. They beat Danville Christian. They've gotten battles with Woodford, Lloyd, and Butler. They didn't have the KOB they wanted, but like I said, the games that they lost were within 1 or 2 possessions. They still battled Great Crossing and Hazard to start the year, but I think they're a completely new team. They're getting healthy. Like I said, they're getting healthy. And that's really what's going to make or break this team if they can continue to stay and get healthy. And I without a doubt, could see them being the team in the 16th region that punches that ticket and goes back to Rupp. Because right now, it seems like they're the team to beat. Boyd County is not really winning games right now. We still know how good Boyd County can be, especially led by Jacob Spurlock, one of the most prolific scorers. But I'm interested to see how it continues to go. It's going to be fun. I really do like that Ashland team, and I think Xander Carter deserves to be in more conversations and talked about, man. His numbers point toward it, how he affects winning points toward it. So I'm really excited how Xander Carter's playing. Will St. X lose a basketball game in the state of Kentucky? It's really a good question. It really is a good question because, has their biggest scares they're going to encounter already happened? Is the Woodford County, only beating Woodford County by 5, struggling against their zone, beating Ballard off a game winner by 2? Are those going to be their 2 closest games within Kentucky? It very well could be. It very well could be. I mean, they dominated Trinity tonight in that second half. They beat Moore big time. They beat Great Crossing by 14 points. They made the game against Holy Cross not look competitive. They've beat Lloyd Memorial. They've beat Douglas. They have the best resume right now in the state. So how do we feel about them? I know last season St. X looked just as great. They looked amazing. I know they took the loss to Prolific Prep by only about 9 points. They were dominating teams. They were winning big time games. They looked like it was going to be hard as ever to beat them. And then we seen how things happened when they lost. They lost big time to Seneca in the 7th region. So is this a team that's using all their firepower right now and they'll fade out when it comes to March? We don't know that answer. I think this is a completely different team than last year. I think they are a lot more mature. I think they're obviously still got that loss in the back of their mind. They're still playing off it. And I still think, without a doubt, we all agree they are the team to beat right now in the state of Kentucky. And if you're able to beat them, it's going to be a big deal. I think you're going to, it's going to take a lot of things to do. We've seen the zone get used against them. We've seen teams shoot the lights out against them, and it's still hard to beat them. So will St. X lose a game in state? Their schedule's still hard as ever, by the way. They still got a lot of big games coming up. The season's not really even started really for St. X because the districts and the region games are starting to come up. They still got to play Du Bois, Mel, Trinity, Newport, Ballard, Cal, Jeffersontown, North Oldham. The schedule's still strong. They got more games in there, I'm sure. So I'll be interested to see how they finish it out. I still think even if taking a little loss, even if they take a loss to a team, I still think they're number one with the resume they have built. I know there's people who will see a loss and will move teams down 10, 15 spots. I'm not that type of guy because you look at their resume. Kentucky loses to Bama. Do you drop them 10? No, you don't. They're playing another great team and they still have a great resume. So, don't let people who say St. X might not be as great as they're advertised say that because they've proven every bit to be. Whether if it's in-state, out-of-state, they've proven it so far. You can't talk enough about Jeremiah Jackson and how contributive he is to basketball in general. He's a winner. All he is a winner. He plays to win basketball games. He plays to win. He doesn't care if he has 5, if he has 20. He's going to contribute and impact the game either way. He's about the most impactful player you can find in the state of Kentucky, man. Butler County or Davis County. We had Ty Price join us. We've had Jonathan Moss join us before. Being from the 3rd region area, it's always fun to see how that plays out. I know the Butler County record isn't as good as you want to see, but you've got to beat Butler County in that region district play to prove you're better. And it's going to be hard to lose that district shared by Trinity, Edmonson County, and Grayson County. You like what Grayson County offers with Jack Loxton. Spencer Langdon's back to running the point guard, and they look like a whole new different team. But it's going to be hard for that team to lose in district, let alone region. If there's anybody who's obviously got the chance to beat them in region, it is Davis County. Davis County played Butler County great. They scored 85 points a game. Jonathan Moss looked unstoppable, 35 a game. And here's the thing about Jonathan Moss. I've talked to Jonathan before. Jonathan's goal to go into games isn't to score 25, 30. He just wants to impact and what makes winning. But there's times where Jonathan, in order to win, he'll have to have games like that where he scores 35. And I've been hard on him before. I think a lot of people have. They've critiqued him. But when De'Aaron Watkins is playing a little slower, his motor's down, it's hard to win without him giving 100%. And when he gives 100% against a Barron County, where he shoots against a Butler County, where he shoots 8 for 9, he scores 21 points and 10 rebounds, it is hard to beat him. And I really think he's going to continue to keep up this great season, both of them. They both look great. They both look like they're playing their best basketball of their career. Stats show it, wins show it. Moss is averaging 20. Watkins is averaging 18 and 10. So it's going to be hard to beat Davis County. I do think Davis County can compete on a state level, especially if they get a good draw, if they can make it out of that region, because they're a deeper team. Aiden Ayer, Jaxo Brown, 2 other great players we don't talk about enough, Caden Payne. This is a really good basketball team. When Jonathan Moss and De'Aaron Watkins are at their best, it's almost impossible to beat Davis County at times. But you have to get them both at their best, which sometimes, you might have one not playing as great as the other one not. It never happens. But when consistency continues for Davis County, and right now they look consistent, they're playing their best ball, it's going to be hard to beat a better ball club than Davis County. And I love Davis County. I love what they have to offer. I think Coach Hayden is doing a great job. I think Moss is playing amazing. Watkins is playing amazing. The role guys are stepping up. Jaxo Brown's another double-digit efficient scorer that doesn't really get brung up in conversations. He's about as tough and physical as a guard as you'll find in that region. Davis County is my pick right now over Butler County, but we got to see them play again. We got to see them match up. We got to see how they finish out this region. It's obviously different stories when guys are healthy, but we have to be where we're at right now. We aren't healthy, so we have to deal with the Butler County team we have right now. How far can Ty Price help take this team? How big can Briar Griffin and Castleton and DeWeese continue to step up and win games? It'll be interesting to see. They got a battle with Muhlenberg coming up. So, but right now, I still have Davis County as my favorite team right now in that third region. It's going to be interesting to see it play out. We've talked about a lot today on today's show. We're an hour and 45 in. It's been fun. Tomorrow we have Martin Luther King Day at a lot of schools, so I knew people would be able to stay up, watch things. We've had a huge viewer count here tonight, which is surprising. Not because I know we can't do it, but because I know the Ravens and Bills are playing. And I'm sure it's going to be ending here in a minute. It could be over right now. I could have missed who won the game. So, and it looks like Buffalo beats Baltimore to advance 27-25. Wow, that's one I definitely probably should have made. I'm sorry if I kept some of you guys away from the football games and other things going on. I wanted to get a show tonight where we talked to multiple guests, where we highlighted how good high school basketball has been so far in Kentucky, and we talked about the top guys. I won't say too much, but rankings could be dropping soon for some people. We can definitely have some things heating up. We'll see. It's a fun basketball scene right now. I think a lot of people are talking. A lot of people have favorite players. A lot of people think players are better than other players. Rivalries are continuing to get heated and start. It's high school basketball. It's where it gets fun like this right now. We're really start seeing who's legit with some of these teams playing. I talked about it today, man. We gave our player of the week, which was Malachi Moreno. He could win this almost every week, it feels, but he had such a good week recently and how he impacted the game. You got to think against Western Hills where he didn't even play the whole game, how much he could have stat padded, but they saved the guy. 21, 12 and a half, 4 blocks. It could be even higher stats if I include the win against Cathedral from the day before. It's been a really fun show, guys. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. It's a late night. I hope everybody enjoys their holiday tomorrow. I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. I hope everybody got to enjoy the guest. Let's highlight those sponsors. We can't ever forget them. They're the best in the world. Barron Farms out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Pelican Snowball, the best sweet treat in the Bowling Green, Barron County area. Grayville Funeral Home located in Brownsville, Kentucky. Exact Homes, that's Scotty Hawkins in Grayson County, Kentucky. B Spring Lumber, that's Wendy and Kelly Wood in B Spring, Kentucky. Charity Hall Bingo, Troy Dever, the best bingo there is in Louisville. Alfred's Pharmacy, the best pharmacy in Edmonson County, Kentucky. They do the best. They are the best. Detman Law Injury Lawyer out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Shout out Mr. Detman. He sponsors this week's Player of the Week. He will from now on. You'll get to see that. We'll be doing Player of the Week every week. And how could I forget the man behind the scenes, Ronald Scott Lindsay, Judge Executive in Edmonson County, Kentucky. Thank you for everyone who sponsors. If you're interested in hopping on the sponsor list, hit me up. Let me know. I'd love to get some contacts, and I'd love to get things worked out. Over 1,000 people were in here at one time, and it's late at night. It was a long-time show. There's some big games going on. Thanks, everybody who tuned in and enjoyed the guest. I want to thank all the guests for hopping on today. Eli Finley wasn't able to make it, but don't worry. We're getting him in next week. We've talked to Jalen Crane, one of the top players in the 5th region, one of the highest recruited 2026s. He's going to be making that list too. William Unseld, Ty Price, Matthew Lange, DeMarcus Surratt, Davier White, Austin Sperry, Austin Sears made today's show so much more better and so much more special. If you didn't miss it, if you missed it, that's fine. Go back, repost it, go back and watch. Our show stays up. This isn't just a one-time live. This is our first show of the next 5 weeks. We'll be doing this weekly every Sunday. We'll be sneaking in some special guest shows within. We got some big guests I want to get on here and talk. Deadstock Visuals, man. Answer me, man. Talked to Deadstock earlier, man. Want to get him on this show. Want to have him speak on just how good Louisville looks right now. He's kind of one of the kings of Louisville, and I think he can really come on here. We can talk about how the LIT went, who's his top teams, get things going. I sent him a message, no response back yet, but I'd love to get him on. Thank you to everybody who helped, providing images that we used today on social media and posted about. Thank you all of our sponsors. More importantly, thank you to the amazing fan base that supports me and supports the show. Everybody, thank you so much. Let's get going. Enjoy our show next week. You see the cross up top. God bless. Stay safe. Enjoy your holiday tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Joe Show. It's been great. Let's